All right, welcome back, everybody. Well, I hope you're in the mood for some slow blues rock in a key signature of 6/8, and because that's what you're going to get here. This is "Since I've Been Loving You" by Led Zeppelin, or the Led Zeppelins, or Led and the Zeppelins, or as the band Moby Grape likes to call it. Wait, didn't I write that song? Yeah, this is off Led Zeppelin's third album, and just a great example of just playing with dynamics. They really play super, super quiet and take it as loud as can be. But you know all that because you tuned into this song. So I'm going to take you through all of Jimmy Page's great guitar parts, break them down for you, both rhythm and lead, and we'll go from there. So this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down and click subscribe, ring the bell. Bell lets you know when I drop new content. I do that every single week. All my videos have chapters in them so you can go right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I really appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or even better, you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons I do on YouTube, just like this one. Links in the description, so check it out. All right, so "Since I've Been Loving You." So this is Jimmy Page on his Les Paul. And man, this is just such a great, great guitar song. So all my details of my single chain are going to be in the description below. One thing I'm going to call out is I've got a new piece of gear, new to me, by P2Pamps. This is a great guy here near me now in Nashville, Mike Skaggs, and he builds fantastic, fantastic amps. And this is his Uncle Larry, which is his 5E3 Tweed Deluxe, and he works a lot with Tom Bukovac, so I don't know, maybe this is modeled after one of Tom's favorites, I don't know exactly, but it's a great amp and it sounds great with this song, so I'm going with that. All right, so a pro tip for setting up for this song. Ideally, you want to go with sort of a Gibson style setup where you've got a bridge and neck pickup with independent volume controls, so like a Les Paul or a SG or something to that effect. And what I like to do is first, throw it down to the bridge, sort of wide open down here, and dial in your amp to be like what is the most screaming lead sound that you're going to have later on in the song. Go get that first, right? This, or whatever that's going to be for you, right? And then throw it back up on your rhythm pickup and bring that all the way back so it cleans up. To, like on mine, it's like a 3 or a 4. Because what's going to happen is we're going to switch between those, and this is what I think he did on the record. So that'll set you up, and you won't have to do a whole lot of playing with monkeying with volume as you're going along. All right, so let's get started at the beginning, right? So we're going to go into this little very tasty lead that he opens the song with. And by the way, what we're going to be playing with all day long here on this lesson, what he uses is the C natural minor scale, intermixed with a C minor pentatonic. Like the C minor pentatonic actually fits within the C natural minor scale. Right? So it's going to be variations of that all the way through. So that's sort of the home scale. A lot of people ask about that. Okay, so he opens up with our, opening riff up here on the 8th fret. And again, we're on our rhythm pickup, our neck pickup. We've already got that dialed down. And because you've dialed down the volume, you can play it quietly with your pick if you want, gently. But you can also pick super hard and it doesn't sort of overpower because you've dialed that volume way back. Right? And he just continues on here, that little lead. Super pretty, right? didn't mean to just go through all of that, but that's the part. So I'm not gonna talk through it all. If you want to go back and replay that or slow it down, whatever you need to do. But that's the little opening part. He's doing all of that on the rhythm pickup, or your neck pickup, and then here's where we throw down to our bridge, right? And we've already dialed in our sound. All still sort of operating out of this C minor sort of pentatonic shape here. Love that little climb up there. It's just a C minor. It's like a C minor shaped triad, which is all buried within that natural minor scale. Okay, and then this next phrase is going to happen throughout the song and the different guitar solos that he does. And there's two places you can play it. I always sort of thought it was down here, based off of this. I'll lower the volume. Based off of like an F minor shape, right? Right? Because it sort of fits, you know, F minor's in the song. But for some reason I had a mental block like all my life until like literally 2 weeks ago, where I was like, you know what? What if you played it here? Which is, you know, when you think of the home sort of pentatonic rock, you know, off of an F, it's all right there. And the reason I think he played it there is because the very next phrase he jumps to immediately after that is this big, you know, two-step bend. You know, and if you're down here, sort of have to, you know, jump all the way up here. So now I play this lick here. So that's my feeling on the matter. And then you close it off. We're going to learn about this full transition riff later, but whew, how beautiful is that, right? Here's those shapes. There's a million ways you can play that. You know, when you're in this shape, you can sort of mute that fifth string, and you can sort of hit it all with your pick, like that. Or you can hybrid pick it. You know, have your ring finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Sometimes I have my pinky there for some reason and wants to go, which is makes the bending all harder. Anyway, but those are the shapes. We're going to talk about the chords behind that whole transition riff later on, but that's how the song opens, okay? So let's go right into the verses. So there's 3 verses, and they all sort of build in terms of power and what he does on it. So there's, you know, as with each sort of, I talked about dynamics. With each verse that goes on in the song, he plays the verses a little differently, and with a lot more sort of, it grows with energy on each one, okay? The first one's going to be a little bit of chords and a little bit of noodling. The second one's going to be a little bit of chords, but played all the way through. And the third one's going to be chords with different sort of voicings. Okay, verse 1. So he's going to start off with a little bit of chords and a little bit of noodling, all right? So we're here on our C minor position. I think he's still on his bridge. He's rolled his, I think, roll your volume back now. And then he does this little 2 string. transition from the C minor to the F minor. And then I'm going to throw this up on the rhythm pickup because I think he comes back to our that sound. Right? And in these little noodle parts, you could probably play them in both positions, right? The home sort of 8th fret, or you can play it off of this. But I think he's up here on the 8th fret, so. Right, just around that little natural minor scale. Back to our 2-string. And this little lick that he does here, you can do him in, again, do it in both places. I think he's up here because I think I hear him pull off down to the G at the end of it, but it's. I think I hear that pull down, but you can play it down here. Down to our G, and he just moves over your bridge pickup, and that G is it's like a power chord. There's no major third in it. You can play it a number of different ways. You want to mute that A string and just have those others ringing out. You can either thumb over or that way. Octaves. And then here's our transition lick. The second half is just what we learned, you know, before. So that full lick, we're going to start it again with string skipping. We've got fifth and 3rd string this time. And again, you can hybrid pick, or because you're muting that middle string, you can just hit it hard with your pick and just hit it like that. So here's what's happening with the chords, in my mind, anyway. So that first lick, or first little shape there, I believe that's based off of a C minor, and you're just adding that E flat on the bottom of it. So there's a triad of your C minor. The second chord is, right, it moves from that to that, so your first 2 note is part of that. Your second one is, I believe it's part of a G, like dominant 7. Right, so if you think about it in terms of chords, okay, so that. Now you're going to add on that same shape. Let's just switch our orientation. I'm going to drop this top end part of the chord, and I'm just going to play the lower 4 notes. Right? So. Whoops. Then slide it down and add your C note, which sort of is it's like a D, either D dominant 7, and then it's a D flat major 7 with the A flat in the bass. You know, it's like that chord. Anyway, he's not playing all those chords, obviously. Sorry if I'm going down this rat hole, but I thought it was useful to understand sort of the chords that are behind all of that, right? You're just playing 2 strings. But if you're just sitting around on the couch with your guitar and you're noodling on this song, you know, I like to play I like to play all the notes. Maybe I'll play the 3 strings. So enough of that. All right, verse 2. So we're just going off of our chords now. He's doing less noodling, a little more energy brought to it, but it's arpeggios. F minor. Moving your pinky around. Down there with that little lick. All right. Then he backs off. I'm working from 7. And how great is this little lick? So it's like an F minor, but you're just hammering on those top 3 strings. Right. C minor. G. Octaves. I love that, by the way. You get that B note in there. Leads us into the guitar solo. Now the guitar solo is an overdub, so what I'm going to continue on is what's happening with the rhythm guitar during the guitar solo, okay? So it's actually very little tame, because you don't want to be stepping, you want to create room for your guitar solo, but it's very much sort of grows throughout in energy throughout the solo, but it's just the sort of power chords. A little bit of arpeggio sometimes. And when he's on the F minor, when he keeps, you know, the next round, he starts adding that in. Right? He's just adding that kind of stuff. And finishes out the same. That's the same all the way through. So I just wanted to call that out. There is a rhythm part, and that is going on underneath the solo. It's there. All right, after the solo, everything breaks down, right? And there's that great, quiet little rhythm part. I'm going to flip back to my neck pickup. Said I've been crying. All that is just that, right off of your little C minor position right here. And then lower octave. And end with a little triad. C minor triad. Verse 3 now. So verse 3, it's more chord arpeggiating, but it's more energy, and he's got, you know, sort of a different voicing. He's using this voicing of a C minor. It's really only just playing those first 3 strings. Every once in a while, maybe you're playing that root note. And then this is greatness. He goes right to a C dominant 7 before you go back to your F minor again. Back to F minor. Back to our C minor. And he ends this little part here with this rippin' rock riff that I sort of hear the beginning of it, and I sort of could never really tell what happens as he does the rundown clearly, because there's everything else going on. But here's what happens. He does this, he does that sort of rockin', he does that 5 times. Well, I'll just show you. That's the run that he does, you know. And you can finish that off in 2 different ways. Or you can stay all up here and pull down. Which I think maybe he does, but I'm not sure about that. So first way. Or if you don't believe me, here it is. All right, and from that point on, it's all, you know, sort of the same that we've already learned. You know, our octave. One last time, there's this G sharp. Big ending. And then get quiet. All right, so that's all the rhythm guitar. Let's check out the guitar lead now. All right, so the lead guitar is overdubbed. And the story is that he, and it's clearly a different sound on there, and the story is that he, you know, maybe was trying some other things, and he found a blue combo amp in the studio. He didn't name what kind it is, and he used that, which is probably, high likelihood, it's an Ampeg, maybe a Gemini 2, which has a 15-inch speaker in it. I just wonder, it just sounds totally different, but whatever. That's what the folklore says that he used, but he's still on his Les Paul, and what he's doing is just a ripping, it's just ripping C minor pentatonic, you know, all day long on this thing. So Um, so for my Patreon peeps, I have this all tabbed out note for note exactly. I'm going to do it as best I can when I slow it down here, but I sort of have my own muscle memory of how I sort of play it, and that might get intermixed here. But if you want the real thing, it's all tabbed out on my Patreon here. So what he's going to do on this first solo is he's going to open it up with that whole sort of ripping thing, and he's going to go all the way down from that to the bottom of the scale down here, and sort of finish up in the middle before he transitions to the F minor part, right? So if I slow it down, it's sort of like this. Right? That's that first run before he gets to the F minor. And when it changes to the F minor, he just keeps going. Turn this up. And then moving back to our C minor, I think he takes it here. You could keep it all in this position, but I think I hear him pull it down. Okay, so that's all that sort of C minor pentatonic there, based off of the home position. Then he goes up to our sort of BB King box, as I like to call it, like the extended pentatonic up here. Yeah. This next riff I played wrong for years. I always thought it was something like, or you pull it down here. But it is not. It is it's a rake off of this F minor. It's up there. So much easier and so much more precise than that. And the reason I'm convinced it's that, besides listening to the isolated track, is again what happens immediately after, because he's right here in this spot doing your two-step bend. How great is that? You just take two positions on the neck and milk every possible thing you can get out of it. And then you're back to your C minor pentatonic speed run. This time it's very similar to what he did before. He's going all the way down to root note, and then coming all the way back up again, all the way to the top of it. So, all right, and trying to slow it down, it's something like this. All the way back up again. That's just beautiful. That's all major pentatonic. Love that. Just playing with that. And then your climb out of it. Back to your big F minor bend, which you could do it in either spot. This is where I'm doing it now. Again, I'm doing it there because the next lick right after that is your two-step bend in that spot. And just end it with one more ripping pentatonic. know he's in that position there because he gets that. Right. So anyway, it's kind of weird playing that slow like that, but all right, kiddos. Well, that was Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin, and I hope you learned something new today. If this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell. Bell lets you know when I drop new content. I do that every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do something similar, let me know what that is too. But until next week, take care, everybody.